The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, everybody. How are we doing tonight? Hey, Jack, coming through good? Everybody can hear me and see me? Hey, Todd. Hey, everybody. Good, Lou. Doing good. So I gave Daryl the night off tonight. So you guys got me tonight. This is John Skelton with Apex. And I told him I would let him have the night off and run this webinar tonight. But then like 2 minutes ago, the kids brought me some piping hot chocolate chip walnut cookies. Man, I tell you, that made me second guess doing this webinar. These are some good cookies. But I guess we'll do a webinar. The cookies can wait. I don't need them anyway. Trust me. Well, good. Thank you everybody for being on with us tonight. I'm going to get us started here. Doug says I can't talk about cookies without sharing. Well, Jeffrey says, oh man, we're going to get yelled at. It's John tonight. Do I always yell at you guys? I mean, I might get on to you a little bit. I don't really yell, do I? Well, Marion, you don't count. Marion's answer doesn't count. Hey, sometimes we all need a little bit of yelling, right? I'll try not to yell too much tonight. Only a little. I got one little section to yell about, and that's it. Okay, there we go, Todd. Forceful compassion. Yes, Grant, you're grounded. You're always grounded. All right, well, let's get rolling here, guys. Welcome everybody to the Apex Sniper webinar. And throw up our disclosures here. Trading involves risk. Make sure you know what you're doing before you do it. And you can read through there real quick. A couple things here. Earnings season. I want to make sure that everybody is aware of earnings season and what they mean. And, you know, during earnings season, we can have a little bit of volatility, especially right before or after the earnings come out. We can have some market spikes. Sometimes the market can go flat right before a big earnings announcement comes out. As it's coming out, it can spike. So you definitely want to be aware of earnings, especially going into the close. So if you go to the homepage of the Apex website and you go right up here to account menu links, okay? Right here under news calendar. Most of you are aware of this, but we do have some newbies in the mix here. So we're going to review a couple things tonight. Go to news calendar. Let's see here. Yep, Alan, I see that. Thank you. I'll get that fixed up here. So, you know, on your charts, you know, we've got the news indicators. You all use different news websites you go to, but there is a interactive event calendar here that you can go and check out some upcoming news and some history behind them. But if you scroll down here, okay, you'll see earnings dates. Okay, you've got a whole earnings calendar here. Okay, so you know, you can go through here and see, you know, here's NASDAQ earnings, here's, we've got some Dow earnings, but you've got all the dates on here, okay, of the upcoming, you know, what the company name, the symbol, and the earnings dates, and then the time, okay. You'll see that some of these earnings come out early in the morning, okay, at 8 a.m., so they'll come out before the open, all right. Some of these come out real early at, you know, 6:30 a.m., but there are also a lot that come out at 4 p.m., okay, or 4:05. So if you're holding something into the close, you know, things can start to get wacky right at the end there. So you need to be aware, especially if it's something big like, you know, Microsoft or Google or, you know, Amazon, whatever it may be. You need to be aware of those earnings, okay? So here's where you can find those. Here's where you can check that every morning. Make that part of your morning routine, especially here over the next, you know, few weeks. Looks like they don't really get rolling till about the 16th, and then through the rest of the month, they're going to be, you know, popping. Okay, so make that part of your morning routine to check what's going on. You know, sometimes these ones that come out at 8 a.m. that will move the markets early, you know, pre-open. Might not have as huge an effect on the morning, but it can also make that, you know, that first 5-minute dark zone lasts a little longer. Okay, that craziness right at open lasts a little longer based on what that earnings report was. And again, be aware of going into the afternoon, okay, for those ones that close. So that's where you find earnings. Again, if you're at the homepage of the website here under account menu links, go to news calendar, check that, make it part of routine. Cool. Very important to know that there and be aware of what's coming up. You know, we talk a lot about, especially in boot camp and sniper trades, you know, looking ahead and looking at levels and looking at walls, looking at you know, stacks of things, knowing what's in front of us, and knowing news and particularly earnings, you know, is something very important. I mean, we don't always know when a crazy news announcement is going to come out of nowhere. We don't always know when Trump's going to send out one of his famous tweets, right? Like what happened today towards the end of the day, and a 400-point drop on the Dow. Some of those things we don't know, but this is one of the things we can know ahead of time. We just have to know to be aware of it every quarter, at the end of the quarter, and be able to look it up and have it right there. So we always put those up for you there to be able to know ahead of time as much information as you can there. Real quick thing about Markers Plus. There's been some issues on this and confusion on this. Those of you that have Markers Plus know that every once in a while, you'll get a little pop-up that says, hey, your trial has expired, okay? And all that means is that your machine ID has changed. All right, we all know that certain software updates or hardware updates, usually it's these Windows updates that happen, will change your machine ID. So your machine ID that you had previously that was active for you, now all of a sudden there's a new machine ID and it thinks you're just using a trial version. And it says, hey, you know, this is expired for this machine ID. And as you know, we need you to send that machine ID to the help desk, copy and paste it so we can update it for you, okay? Now, some of you might be aware that there's now a new third-party process that's part of the training, okay? That is only for brand new install, okay? If you've already had Markers Plus, do not go back in and do that third-party install. Do not do that process. It will mess things up, okay? If you are switching from NT7 over to NT8, you still just follow the same protocol. You do not need to go back in and do that third-party process. If you get the expiration notice, okay, with a new machine ID, just send it to the help desk like usual. You do not need to go in and do the third-party process. That is strictly just for brand new people that are now signing up and buying Markers Plus. It's just a new little procedure that we're doing. Okay, if you go and do that, it will mess you up. So only do that if you're directed by the help desk to do it. Okay, maybe there's some issue and we want you to go ahead and do that to help us fix something in the back end, but only do that process. Okay, if you're an existing Markers Plus member, you've already had it for a while, only do that process if you're directed to. Okay, or else it can mess some things up. We've had a lot of that coming in, okay? And it can delay, you know, by several more days getting your machine active properly. Also remember, if you have two different machines, like if you've bought two licenses, okay, and one of them gives you that expiration notice because it changed, when you send us that, we need both your machine IDs because we don't know which one to change, right? Our records don't say, oh, this is, you know, this is Mark's desktop he has in the bedroom, and this is his. We don't know that. All right, so if you have two licenses, you need one updated for a new machine ID. We need you to send us both machine IDs that need to stay and be active, okay? And just remember, there's step-by-step training for installing and using Markers Plus. There is a Skype support room that handles questions, issues, anything you have like that. The help desk only handles the activations, okay? The Skype room cannot handle your activation. The help desk handles that. The Skype room can handle your, you know, questions or other tech issues. The help desk does not do that. So just to make sure you know where to go there, okay? Let me see here. All right, Chris, if everything's working for you good, if you have an issue with that, let me know. Let's see here. Yes, if you already have Seth says, hey, can I upgrade to a second license? Okay. Yes, you can. All right. If you already have one Markers Plus license, and you want to get a second one, make sure that you sign into your Apex username and password, and then just go here to apexinvesting.com/automate. Okay. And click right here where it says click for one PC license. If you're logged in, it will recognize the products you already have, okay? And it will give you the option to upgrade to a second license. I don't have it on this machine here for, I believe, $197. Okay, that way you don't have to go back in and pay a whole $597 for one. You can just upgrade for a second one, okay? Pat Markers Plus is our semi-automated trading software, okay? If you want to learn more about it, you can go to apexinvesting.com/automate. Okay? So once again, only do the third-party process if you're directed to by the help desk or if you're brand new and just signing up. Okay? Here in a few weeks, some of you might have been around with us last year or even earlier this year when we ran a big open house. Okay? Now that we've gone through and we've made, most of the final touches here for the NT8 conversion and the new training. How many of y'all have gone back through the new training Daryl's made, where everything is combined? Some of our previous trainings, we had the basic training, then we kind of added on some new rules. We grew, we learned, we developed, we evolved, and a lot of those were taught on ongoing webinars where you kind of had to, watch the first training, then watch you kind of had to watch that evolution. Okay, and now we've gone back through and put it all together into one. All the tidbits along the way are all back into one initial training. Okay, I know some of you think, I don't want to go through all that. I've been through all that. I would definitely go and check that out because it's all together now. When Daryl went through it a couple weeks ago, we had so many people that said, oh, I didn't realize that was a rule. Oh, I didn't realize that was a condition. Because through that evolution, if you might have missed a webinar or two where we added something else in, you didn't know, okay? Yes, some people say, hey, where do I find that? Well, you just go to the Apex website here, go right here to the bootcamp area, click this, and this page is completely redone. The structure, the setup, the flow, the page, the links, everything is redone. The order with which you watch things, all of the step-by-step training is completely redone where everything's all in one. All the rules are all together in one, video course there. Okay, so definitely go back through and watch it. But since we've made that transition to NT8, we've redone the page, we've redone the training, redone the rules, put it all together. We're going to open it up here in a few weeks and do another big open house where, we send out some emails, we send out some, posts, and we invite people in to come try boot camp free for 30 days with no credit card. And then, the second month for just $1. And we're going to really dig in. We're going to have a lot of people participating. There's going to be a lot more interaction in the elite room. We'll probably go back to doing Daryl will probably do 2 webinars a week. I'll probably do 1 a week or every other week as well on top of that, and really dig back into some of the basics and some of the training, and it's going to be really great. So if you have, so for you existing members, that's going to be great. There's going to be a lot more interaction, a lot of training going back through some of this, okay? But also if you, have friends or family or someone that's been interested in trading or wanting to trade, that's been holding off until we make the transition to Ninja 8 or until we redo the courses or whatever it may be. It's a great time to let them know that here about the 3rd week of October, it'll be announced everywhere. We're doing that big open house. They'll be able to try it out free, try out all the new stuff, and we're going to dig in really deep there for about 6 weeks, okay? And, really get back into some of the basics and some of the training and really in depth. So it's a perfect time for anyone you know. So spread the word. It's going to be a very busy time for us, but it's gonna be worth it. So speaking of covering the basics here, and not so much basics as it were, but what I really wanted to talk to you tonight about was multiple clubs in your bag. You've heard us talk about that before, about not one single strategy covers every single market condition. Sometimes the market's trending, sometimes it's ranging, sometimes it's chopping. And having multiple clubs in your bag or multiple tools in your toolbox, when Daryl kind of jumped in and taught simplicity over the last few months, we have a tendency of, here comes the yelling, by the way. So whoever says, oh God, here's John, he's going to yell at us. Here's the yelling part. And it's not a yelling part. It's human nature. We have a tendency to switch direction to the new shiny toy, right? So I'm not yelling at you. I've done it too, right? Okay, I'm learning this sniper. I'm really getting this down. Oh, the simplicity thing. And the next thing you know, it's been 6 weeks and you haven't even looked at a sniper trade, or you haven't even taken a sniper trade. Daryl brought this up last week of, hey, somebody said, when are we going to do sniper trades again? When are those coming back? Like after the election, after a change in the market? And it's like, wait, what? It's like, what do you mean? Like, they're still here. But we got sidetracked, right? Because of sniper, because of simplicity. And nothing against simplicity whatsoever. It's just, it's kind of a big thing that Daryl and I have been talking about of, hey, we try to show something new that really we're just trying to add on a layer. Does that make sense? In the wintertime when it's really cold, okay, and for those of you that live up north, we don't have to do it down here in Texas, but, up north, way up north, they wear layers, right? Got the layer of the long johns, and then another layer of clothes, and then a layer of sweaters, and then a layer of big old jackets, and then a layer of, scarves and hats. You're adding it on. You don't take one off to have the other. You know what I mean? Yeah, okay. Kenosha, Wisconsin. You know what I'm talking about, Chris, right? When you add on something new, you're adding it on top of what you have. You're not exchanging one for the other. You're adding on those layers to be better, to be healthier, to be safer, to be warmer. And, the long johns, right? And so that's all the yelling I have for you there is it's so easy to get caught up in the new shiny thing instead of realizing the new shiny thing, being simplicity, is just to be added on top, okay, of what you already have. It's to add an extra layer, okay? Just like with sniper. We don't just say, oh, we're only going to take uptrends. That's it. Oh, now I learned downtrends, so I'm only going to take downtrends. Oh, well, now I learned about divergent trends, and I can go the other way. So that's all I'm going to do is only take divergent trades the other way. Oh, well, now I learned about range-bound tradings. That's the only thing I'm going to do is range-bound trading. It doesn't work like that, right? You know how to do them all, so you can take short or long trends in the direction of the trend, or if it's divergent, you can go against the trend, or if it's range-bound, you know the rules of how to trade in a range-bound market. Or now, here's another thing to look at of simplicity. You remember how simplicity started? Of, hey, we're going to get you in a sniper trade. And as you're in that sniper trade, if you also see the simplicity lines up, then you can take it longer instead of just a scalp. Anybody remember that, the spin around? That's how it started, right? And then it was like, well, there is a way to just enter it on its own like this, and then boom, you all stop doing sniper, right? So do you see kind of the errors of the way there? I get it. Sometimes you just can't concentrate on a bunch of different things, but you have to realize that you're taking something that's a positive, meaning it should be an add-on, an extra layer, a bonus, an option, and you're turning it into a, you know, a tunnel vision. Does that make sense, guys? And I just wanted you to kind of be aware of that. Okay. See, props to Chris there. Chris says, no, not me. I'm still doing sniper until I can master it. Then next stop onto simplicity. And you hear me talk about that. If you guys have been with us for a while, for 6 years, you've heard me say, you start with one thing, you demo it, you screw it up, work out the kinks in sim, in demo, master it, become profitable, then you move over to live. And once you continue to be profitable that in live, boom, then you start with the next thing. Play with it in demo, screw it up, mess it up, master it, become profitable, boom, get it, add that onto live. You're just adding another block on. Okay? So make sure to, these new things we teach, make sure to remember they're building blocks, not just your new one-way highway. Or like Alan says, hey, sometimes in the evening there's rarely any sniper trades. Exactly. Okay, and that's a perfect point. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Just like we don't only take trend trades or only take divergence trades or only take range-bound trades, you have to have different tools in your bag, right? It's like Tiger Woods when he plays golf. He's not just using a putter or just using a driver. He's using the different tools at the right time. So Alan brings up a good point. Hey, at night, you don't get a whole lot of sniper trades. We get more simplicity trade. Exactly. That's when you want to use that tool. Okay? During the daytime, you might get more of this. You might be waiting on one and get another. Having those options is what it's all about. Okay? Just don't turn a new option, the new shiny toy option, into your only option. Got it? So with that being said, that's part of why Daryl last week said, hey, somebody's saying, when do these come back? They didn't go anywhere. They're here. And he walked you through that day. Remember? Didn't pick some random day. He walked you through that day and walked through the rules, why you should take them, why you shouldn't trade him. And I think, what was it, an hour and 3 minutes into the day, you had your 3 and done, right? Okay, and kind of been focusing a little more on, sniper in the room. And so last week, he kind of did, that walkthrough. And we kind of, when Daryl and I talk, we call that the how. He's showing you how to do that. He's showing you how the trades work, how to put the rules into place. He's going and reviewing the day bar by bar and showing you the how. And then he's going to go ahead and do that again next week's webinar as well. What I wanted to kind of bring it back to tonight was the why. Okay? Because that's another thing that I think we forget about. And again, we also have some newbies with us as well, as far as, hey, it's not just about the rules of sniper. It's not just, hey, what are the rules to take a TX trade? But it's remembering what's behind it and what it's all about. And having that clear vision of how the market really works, levels, momentum, exhaustion, not thinking you're smarter than the market and therefore fighting the market. Okay? And without having clear vision of what's going on, you're just blind. You've heard me say before, it's like driving down the highways at 70 miles an hour with a blindfold on your head. You don't really know what's going on, okay? And that's where order prints, Apex order prints, is really the nuts and bolts behind the sniper system. Okay, because it's our magnifying glass behind the bars to let us really see what's going on, not just random confusing numbers, but utilizing the Apex formulas to interpret those numbers. Let the algorithm interpret it to tell you, hey, what's going on? And that's really the true edge of the sniper system, okay? And so I just want to review this. Some of you might know this, but I think we forget it because I've heard it a lot over the last week or two of people really not understanding the power of it and what's behind it. And I've seen it from some newbies as well. And you've all seen this before. You understand what a sniper chart looks like. You understand, what each thing is. Okay. And you know that what's behind it is order prints. And this here is just a complete plain order prints chart. All right. With all of the numbers shown. On the left side, we've got the sell side. On the buy side, we've got the buy side. It is showing you, the exact number of contracts that were bought and sold at that price level. And it's not just a bunch of numbers that are confusing to you. We've gone through and, our algo interprets them for you. And it shows, trapped orders and paw prints and clusters and exhaustion boxes. And I just want to talk a little bit about what it means, meaning, what's behind it, okay? So you know what the exhaustion boxes are, and you know what they look like. This is on an NT7 screenshot here. But you know that at the top of these bars here, the exhaustion box is that red box there, right? At the bottom here, it's these green boxes here, okay? And that's what an exhaustion box looks like. But it's so easy to get caught up in, especially when you're brand new, of, hey, I'm trying to just learn the rules. So, okay, so when I see this box and when I see this trapped order, I press enter. Okay, great. Well, what does that mean? Okay, but so those are exhaustion boxes, right? Got the boxes on the bottom, box on the top here. Most of you should know what exhaustion boxes are. Okay, we see them all over. But exhaustion boxes alone is not what we're looking for. We also want what we call trapped orders. Okay, and they're in a blue shaded price area. What it means is orders in one direction came in strong, and then they got rejected. Okay, so we're seeing some rejection there. All right, and those buyers or sellers are possibly trapped because the market's going the other way. And as you see here, right here, see this blue shading here, this blue shading here, this blue shading here, that's a trapped order. Okay, and you can see this trapped order inside of an exhaustion box. And that in a nutshell is what our TX trade is, right? Trapped orders with an exhaustion box, we call it a TX trade. Okay, so we know what that looks like on our chart. And we know that we're supposed to be looking for those on the chart and looking for an entry. Okay. When it says, why doesn't the order print chart look the way you just showed it? Well, if you open an order prints chart by itself, it would look like that. See, for our sniper chart, which you see right here on the screen, we've hidden all those numbers so that they're not overwhelming to you. And what we've put on the chart is the interpretation of those numbers. That way you have your normal chart with all the other levels and tools, and the only thing that's on here is the interpretations that you need, like the trapped orders, the X boxes, the paw prints, the clusters, right? We've kind of put the best of what we need onto the chart. So we understand, okay, I'm looking for these certain things to happen, and then I want a trapped order and an X box. Okay, and you're very focused on learning those rules, and you should be. Okay, but I want to talk to you a little more about the why, meaning what is it? Why do I care about an exhaustion box? Why do I care about a trapped order? Those are fancy, cool names, and okay, I just want two of these things combined, but why? And I think it's very important to understand the why so that you really know what it is you're trading or why you're doing it, right? So on a TX trade, we're looking for an exhaustion box with a trapped order. It's got to be on a reversal bar. And there are some other rules we look at, right? So I want to go back to looking at this right here, just an order prints chart. This is kind of like, hey, all you really need to know is how to hop in the car, turn it on and drive. You don't necessarily need to know what's under the hood, right? You don't really need to know how the engine works and the alternator works and transmission works. You don't really need to know that. So you don't have to know every single detail, but I want you to understand the basics behind what it is you're trading. Okay, so looking here at kind of what's behind the scenes. Okay, I want you to focus here first of all on these bars that are coming down. So these are down closed bars. The left side is the number of contracts sold. The right side is the number of contracts bought, right? So if the market's coming down and these bars are closing down, what would that tell you in general of who's in control right now? Buyers or sellers? Let's see if class is paying attention here. For this move right here, who's in control with these bars right here? Sellers, right? So look at the sell side and you can see the number of orders, right? 78, 57, 121, 75, 72, 172, 89, 58, right? See that? 78, 61, 63. Okay. So let me ask you a question. Think about when you were a new trader. Okay, there's a few different scenarios here. And whatever, maybe you had a little crossover system or this system or that indicator, who knows? And it's like, ooh, looks like the market's going down. Did you jump right in and press the button? Or does sometimes you're like, well, I think it's going down. We've got these couple of bars down. I just want to wait for, okay, there's a third bar. If it gives me another couple bars down, I might go ahead and jump in, right? I just want a little extra confirmation it's really going down. And okay, another bar. Looks like maybe a little volume coming in. I think it's really going down. I think I'm really starting to, okay, and here's another one. I think I'm starting to feel comfortable. I think that's the way the train's going. And I think I'm ready to hop on. And okay, it's still going down. Now, guys, how many of y'all have done that? You want to wait, you want to wait. Like, I just want a little more confirmation. Do y'all remember those days? And then what happens as soon as you get in short? Boom. Right? The other way. Look at these numbers. See the number of contracts here? Like 184, 75, 72, 89, 58, 78, 61, 63. About in here after 4 or 5 bars, all those newbies, all those retail traders, all those everyone start to think, oh, we're going down. I'm ready to hop in, right? How many of you just told me, yeah, that's me. I want that little bit more, a little bit more. Now I'm ready to go. So you see those numbers coming in, right? 78, 61, 63. What do you see right here? Boom. 381 to go short. Boom. 258 to go short. Boom, right here, 105. Do you see that pouring in of shorts right there? Can everybody see that difference? Like you see these numbers as it's coming down, but you see right in here as everybody's like, okay, let's start. We're going to go pour. Everybody start pouring in, going short. 222, 216, 308, boom, 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 boom. How many of you have been one of these people right in here at these price levels? Yeah. Vic says it's called dumb money. Yeah. Not a nice way of saying it, but it's true. So do you see that? And you see right here as it's coming down, 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 like right here is that big push, right? 381, 258. Can you see that yourself? It's not hard to see that difference, right? They just come flooding in. Do you see those, how it's marked in yellow right there? That's a trapped order. It just happens, they just happen to be yellow on this chart because I have them that way for myself. That is a trapped order. So, do you understand why that's trapped? Hey, guess what? We're going down. Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? You fell for our trap. You piled in here, and where'd we go? Boom. The other way. Does that make sense what a trapped order is? How many light bulbs just went off going, oh, crap. I never quite got that. oh, wow, that makes perfect sense. Or how many of you said, oh, crap, that's been me a million times. Buying in at the top or selling at the bottom, right? So that makes sense. Larry, my name is John Skelton. I'm head of operations with Apex. I'm Daryl's right-hand man. So we kind of run Apex together. He's often more on the front end of things with you guys, and I'm on the back end of things, but sometimes I do some webinars too. But so we've got a few aha moments here, right? So think about this. If that is what happens to where the big boys fake everyone out, boom, 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 and then they shoot it the other way, right? And you can see this happening because you get an alert on your chart called a trapped order. Again, mine is yellow here, but it's blue on your sniper chart, right? Everybody knows what a trapped order is? The blue? Right here, it's just yellow. It's the same thing. You get to see it on your chart. That's a big fake out. They're trapped here because they're all pushing. The big boys shoot it the other way. Where do you want to be? Do you want to be taking it the opposite way with the big boys? Or do you want to be one of the trapped? Like, do you see the power in being able to see trapped orders? Because when those potential trapped orders are there, what's normally going to happen? The market's going to go the other way, right? And even if it doesn't go the other way 500 points, all you want is 2 bars out of it to get your 10 ticks, right? So do you see how powerful that is? And how just that one piece right there makes that 10 tick scalp a probability, not just a possibility. It's possible a bar will go this way or that way, but the probability is if there's trapped on the other side of that, it's a good probability that we'll get a couple bars the other way out of it. Do you now understand why that trapped order is important? And how powerful it is and what it means? Okay? So you're starting to understand what I'm saying here of, hey, I want you guys to understand more than just the ABC rules of Sniper. I want you to understand what's behind it and why it's so powerful. Also, how many of you, when you were new, made the mistake of taking a trade just because it had an exhaustion box? There wasn't a trapped order in there, but there was an exhaustion box. Any of you ever done that? Took a trade with a box, but there wasn't a trapped? Yeah? Do you see now why it's so powerful to have both of them? So let's talk about exhaustion a little bit. So you guys understand trapped orders, okay? One other quick example of it. Look right here. Does this scream at you? See this up close bar, up close bar, up close bar. Look at the buy side now, because these bars are going up, buyers in control. Look at the upside. 50, 26, 53. Here it gets a little better, 120, 129, okay. Got about 180, 130. You see that? Boom. What do you see right here? All of a sudden, instead of 20 or even 100 or 130, boom, 860, 922, 812. Big push of orders trying to push up, right? You guys see that? Like, you see the massive push coming in, and it's rejected and closes down. Do you see that just utter weakness and rejection there? And do you see how we want to trade against that rejection? That's why we want to go the other way against the weakness and against the rejection. Can you see any of this happening with just blank bars that are not apex bars? No. So you guys get the power of that, right? You don't want to be these people that are piling in. You don't want to be some of these 900 and 800 and 820. You want to be able to spot that weak rejection and see that it's going to push the other way for a couple of bars and get in on that. Okay. So that's what trapped orders are. Okay. The yellow here, which you'll see would be blue on your chart. Exactly, Jim. You guys remember several slides ago I said without having this powerful order prints, you're blind. It's like driving down the highway at 70 miles an hour with a blindfold on. Do you see why I said that now? It wasn't just oh, that's a cool thing to say on a webinar, right? So let's talk about exhaustion boxes, okay? The actual boxes, all right? So in this push down, we saw these big numbers come in, right? 381 and 258. That's the trapped part, correct? But do you understand this right here is one price level? One tick below it was this price level. One tick below was this price level. One tick below, boom. Can you kind of see why there's a paw print there and why there's an exhaustion box on this bar? When you go from 137 sold right here, 105 sold right here at this price, one tick down, 380 contracts sold there, one tick down, 258 contracts, and then what? Boom. Yeah. Yep, Todd, that's actually also an OPR there. But do you see the exhaustion there? 380, 250, 5. Right, Seth. It's a weak price. It's weak down there. It got exhausted. Make sense? That's what's behind those boxes. And sometimes it's not even this massive of a difference. I mean, look up here as the market's coming up, 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 up. You know, look at some of these orders in here. You got 500, you got 1,000, you got 700, 400, 300, 2, and then 82 at the top. See how it just kind of, it got exhausted there. Make sense? How about over here? Remember when we're seeing this, you know, well, it's about 50. Oh, there's 100. Oh, here's 180. Boom. 800, 900, 800, and then 150. Weakness. Exhausted. Does that make a little more sense there when it's dying off there? But now, when we add the two together, where there's weakness and is dying off at the bottom, but then right above that, there was a huge influx that got trapped and rejected. So when you see huge influx, trapped, rejected, then exhausted, and closing the other way, do you think you want to go that other way with it? When you see that? Okay, I mean, we can look at one other screen here. I think you guys understand it, but I wanted to just help you understand some of what was behind it. Okay? I mean, look right here as this market comes down, then it pulls up and it goes down. What do you see right in here? Can you see how some of these orders start to come in and then poof, just two, it's died off, right? See that? So you don't have to know all these numbers. You don't have to understand all of this that's behind this. because our algorithm interprets it for you, okay? And it's on your charts. I mean, this is an NT7 chart because I have it on this computer, but it's already on your charts, right? All those numbers, when they're calculated properly to show exhaustion, you get a box. When there's trapped orders there, you get the blue box. Like, you get to be alerted to these things right away. It gives you that visual aid. Exactly, Chris. Gives you that visual aid where you don't have to sit here and interpret all these numbers and watch them. You get the notification. You even get an alert. You even get the darn detectors to telling you, hey, this is happening right now. Get ready for that bar to close, right? So how many of you in the past, like before Apex, traded moving average crossovers, or traded some random breakout trade, or Fibonacci levels, or whatever it might be? Okay, thinking, oh, this is a great system because this indicator just happened to cross this one for whatever reason, or this one crosses this one, so I'm just going to take it, right? And I'm not trying to bash, but my point is, just in the last 20 minutes that we've been talking about this, can you see for yourself and already understand the power behind being able to interpret these order prints? Because lagging indicators don't move the market, right? Crossovers don't move the market. What moves the market is orders and volume. And being able to see when that crazy volume is coming in hard and then just gets rejected, exhausted, trapped, and goes the other way, you want to get in on that. You don't give a crap what a Fibonacci number is saying right here. When you see that, do you guys understand this example here that I'm showing you? Do you care what a moving average is doing right there? Do you care what a Fibonacci is doing right there? Do you care what some random arrow indicator is doing right here? Do you care what some wave indicator is doing right here? Or do you see that crap is piling in and got rejected like crazy and closing up? I'm taking it for a couple bars. Like, that's what this is all about. That's what Snipers is really all about. Yes, we've got some extra rules to go with it, and you don't want to trade into other stacks. You don't want to trade into other levels. Like, there are some rules, but do you understand the power behind it? You're literally trading, and it's so easy to get caught up in the ABC 1, 2, 3 rules. And you need to, because you need to know them. But stop and think about it. When you're truly trading the Sniper system and understanding it, what are you really trading? Are you trading random indicators? Are you trading just random, I don't know what these darn box exhaust things and trap thing, whatever. What are you really doing? You're literally trading exhaustion and rejection in the market. You're trying to find those traps that are also combined with exhaustion, and it goes the other way, and you're going with it. You're taking it, you're learning where is the strength and where is the weakness in the market, and you're just trying to get a 10-tick scalp out of that. And it's even better if it's bouncing off a level or if it's got divergence, but that's what you're doing, is you're learning to take advantage of those weak areas in the market and you trade it, right? Have you ever really realized that's what you're doing? Like I said, it's so easy to get caught up in ABC rules. You don't really realize the power of it and why you're doing it, okay? And instead of going against the market or fighting the market because some random indicator tells you, you're literally, truly being able to go with the strength or weakness of the market and not get in at the top or the bottoms, okay? I mean, just that part alone is so powerful. But then when we go in and we add to it and say, hey, if the market's ranging, we only want to get in at the top or the bottom going the other way. If it's trending, we only want to follow the trend. We only want to go against it if it's divergent. And here's 4 different ways to tell if it's divergent. Like, you're taking a big probability. Now you're adding on some extra rules about market direction and condition, trending, ranging, divergent, and adding that on, which just makes it a higher probability. Then we take it a step further, right? And we add in rules about when not to trade. Okay, and if you think about what Order Prince is really showing you here, and all of the other things that are involved with Order Prince, zones of interest, mini magnets, paw prints, block orders, showing you these big, important behind the scene levels, and then when they start to stack up, hey, we don't trade into those. So it's being able to have this magnifying glass into the market to know and identify the weakness and use that to our power, but then also seeing these levels to know when not to do it. And that's what really, stacks up these odds, okay? And I want to help you understand, we don't really have time to go through, I've got a lot more slides here, but don't really have time to go through all of them, but I want you to understand that when you're stacking these odds in your favor, okay, the rules are there for a reason, like when not to trade, okay? I've heard people say, I don't know, Apex says when like there's a bunch of lines, just don't trade there, right? Have you ever felt that way? Like they just say there's too many lines there, don't trade. Well, when you realize those lines show major strength, major power, major interest, major weakness, there's a dang good reason not to trade there. I've heard people say, there's too many lines to remember. Sometimes it works. Sometimes they say don't trade into those, but it works anyway. I'm not going to worry about random lines. Stop. Those are not random lines. Those are there for a reason. Just like I showed you here, there's power behind those exhaustion boxes. There's a power and a reason behind the trapped orders that you need to know because it's powerful. Same with these levels that we talk about of using to not trade. It's not something that you like the clusters, right? Hey, here comes clusters, could be chop. There's reasons behind these rules, and make sure you remember that. You're going to be a lot more likely to follow the rules and to want to follow the rules when you realize they're not just made up to be rules. There's a reason for them. That makes sense? You've heard me say this before. How many times you yelled at your kid, don't go out in the street, don't ride your bike in the street, and they just think you're being a mean old parent. Well, not that you want to sit them down and show them gross videos, but when you do sit them down and show them some videos or really show them what can happen and why, then they're like, oh crap, now I'm really going to be paying attention, right? Now it's not about, I don't care about your rules. I'm going to break your rules just to break them. Just some dumb rule mom and dad have. But when they realize there's a reason behind it, then that's with them for life to always think about when they cross the street and crossing a walkway or whatever, right? And you gotta, so that's what I want to do tonight, which is just a little bit of why, what's behind it. These things are important. They mean something. They're more than just rules. And if you remember that, it will take you so far and will turn so many things from a possibility trade to a probability trade. Okay? So don't lose sight of sniper because you're so caught up in simplicity. Don't lose sight of simplicity because you're so caught up in sniper. But just realize with sniper, do you understand now why it's called sniper? It's not just a shotgun approach that you're pressing buttons all day. You're waiting for that moment of weakness and rejection where the market going that direction is at its worst and going to pop the other way. You're waiting for the right time to strike and be a sniper. Okay? And do you remember that one I showed where all those orders are going down, they start piling in to go south? Were they the target or the sniper? Because they got rejected and went up the other way, right? And you don't want to be one of those targets. You want to be one of the snipers that can identify that weakness and go the other way. So I really encourage you, go back and watch the new training, watch the consolidated training, really dig in and learn sniper and really understand what it is that you're trading and that you're learning to find those weak spots in the market and take advantage of it. Okay? Well, good, guys. I know a little bit different webinar tonight. I know sometimes y'all want, hey, just show me how. Show me how. Give me ABC 1, 2, 3. Show me how. I just feel like it's very important for you to sometimes understand the why, what's behind it. We didn't just sit down and come up with some random rules because like, oh, crap, we got to put some rules. There's a reason for it, okay? And make sure that you really understand that. Seth said you're not able to find the button to click on. Okay. Seth, are you signed in to your Apex username and password? Because you have to be signed into Apex first and then go to the page and click the one computer license. Now, if you've already done this, Seth, do you have one or two right now? Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. Okay, try that again, Seth. Go make sure you're signed into your username and password, and then go to the automation page and click to buy one license. If you don't see that option there, shoot a help desk ticket in, and we'll get you the right link. We'll get you fixed up. So, guys, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad that was helpful. I'm glad that gave you some good insight there. Let's see here. A couple questions. Dwayne, is there more training on order prints? That was very insightful and eye-opening. There is, and then I'm going to be doing some more here over the next few weeks. And as we go through open house, kind of what we've got planned for open house, or those of you that have been around know we kind of do this when there's times, especially in an open house, where I'll let Daryl do some of the I let Daryl do some of the hows. Like, here's how you do this. You enter here, you don't enter here. And I go back through and I do some of the whys. Let me explain why. Okay? Let me take it a little slower. Let me dig in and hold your hand and walk you through it. Daryl can be a little fast sometimes, right? Right? And I go through and help you understand the why. So I'm going to be doing some more over the next several weeks, training on order prints and what all behind it. But you can go here to the sniper training page. And where did we put? I have a whole section. Let me see here. We moved all these around. Where did I put them? Of the basic tutorials, right here, under number 7D. The main thing you want to watch, I mean, I'd watch all these, but if you're specifically asking about order prints, more of a slower kind of step-by-step, let's dig into different aspects of order prints right here. Bootcamp tutorial number 2, I walk through order prints, okay? So you can definitely check that out. Yeah, see, Jeffrey, I didn't yell at you too much tonight, right? Yeah, and sometimes we need that, Seth. Seth says, hey, I like it when you slow down and give some explanations, okay? Yeah, Mike was asking about OPR. There is some training on that in the Apex Live. That is one of the things on the list here. We didn't dig in too deep to that just yet a few months ago because we were waiting on, we didn't want to put everything into it that it would take to make all that training and all those indicators, Michael. in NT7 because we're worried about switching everything over to NT8. Now that we've, made most of that transition over, we're going to start working down the list to finish up some OPR stuff in 8 and maybe do some more training on it. Kevin says, excellent, truly an eye-opener about the why. Good, I'm glad that helped, Kevin. And if you go back and watch this Understanding Order Prints video, I take it a little deeper as well, okay? Grant, I don't know the answer to that one, actually. I do not. I'm sorry. I can try to find out for you, or Lori might can answer that for you. Well, guys, good. I'm glad this was helpful. Thank you very much for your time. I'm going to be doing several more of these type of whys, kind of basic tutorials, digging in over the next several weeks. So I look forward to seeing you. Okay. All right, guys, have a great night. Get some rest and hop in the Elite Trade Room early tomorrow morning. We'll see you next time. All right. Thank you.